Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. So good to see you here. Um, while people are joining, let me pull up the screen. How is everybody doing? How are things this morning? Give me a thumbs up if you feel like energized and pumped about the discussion that we are about to have. You can use the reactions and you can use the chat. So feel free to interact. I would like to have this uh, like this not webinar, maybe like a conversation around a very exciting topic to be more or less interactive. So feel free to use the chat if you have questions. I have my wonderful Nina and wonderful team members, Nina and Anna, helping me to catch up with all the questions that you may want to ask in the chat. So feel free to use all the interactivity that we have in here. Oh, London. Awesome. And yeah, I talked to my team this morning. We are pretty global. And people mentioned that they're like sunny days in Europe, which I kind of miss. Here it's in Virginia, it's also like good weather. So hopefully the sun will give us some extra energy. And today we will be talking about a super exciting stuff that is happening in the industry. This is like how ChatGPT, GenAI search, all the LLM models, and everything, like all the buzzwords that you can imagine about AI affect what we do in B2B marketing, especially in the content space, like in B2B content marketing area. And while we are gathering here, I do have a question. Like I do interview people. I'll introduce myself in a moment in a more like an extended way. But have you started receiving traffic from ChatGPT? Give me a plus in the chat if you did. So yes, good. Good. That's awesome, because this is what we are seeing over and over in our conversations with B2B marketing companies. And while you're here, and I encourage you to stay till the end, uh, in the end of this conversation, I will share the AI search optimization checklist. It has been scientifically proven. So I do have the scientific researcher on my team, Anna. She is writing, like she has completed the thesis on the use of Gen AI in B2B marketing space, which is a very interesting topic, which is very relevant to what we're doing. So this checklist is backed up both by the practice things that we see in the fields and also some science. I did read more than a dozen scholarly articles about LLM and Gen AI. So everything that we've learned is baked into this checklist. So I encourage you to stay till the end. I will share the link how you can potentially get it. I'm Ludmila. I'm CEO of Rampic. We are the B2B marketing agency. We are 17 professionals spread out around the globe. Like I am in the United States, all my members are, but we are operating across 6 different countries. And we help B2B IT and SaaS companies get more revenue from their marketing effort. I've been in the industry for almost 2 decades. I've been doing SEO, paid ads, web analytics, strategy, consulting, advising to tech companies for all the time. And I am the B2B Tech Founders podcast host, B2B Tech Founders Lounge podcast host. So I talk to tech founders, I talk to B2B companies literally every day. So I'm pretty much like in the field. I'm on the edge of hearing people out, hearing the frustrations, hearing the conversations, and I'm a big tech enthusiast too. AI is a major shift in everything that we do, and this is what we see from the SEO perspective. If you look at the industry and the major shifts that is happening right now, the search is not the same. Google, Bing, all the traditional search engines are baking in the LLM components, the GenAI components in literally every single search that we have. Actually, the most recent research from Search Engine Journal highlights that roughly 47% of Google results now have an AI overview block. So you see it as a user, people, your prospects, your customers see it every day. And one of the major changes that it brings us is ranking number one on like SEO doesn't cut it anymore. Because even if that little screenshot, this is the best CRM software for small business, best CRM for small business. You'll have a paid ad, you have the sponsor ad, you have an AI overview, then you will have Reddit, since it got married with Google, and then you have the PC Mag. So not a single commercial website in the first two scrolls. So this is where the first part of the challenge comes in. The search is not the same. The B2B prospects and marketing leads journeys, our favorite MQLs, is not the same anymore. People got distracted, and they got distracted not just from the search engines. They got distracted in their journey by multiple things, including the new emerging platforms. This is Rand Fishkin from SparkToro and some part of our internal research. This is how the search engine landscape is changing right now. Google is starting to lose the market share when it comes to discovering new information, learning things, and finding things. The surprising 4.33% share of ChatGPT, backed up by Perplexity, Gemini, and other platforms, this is our new normal. This is our new reality, and depending whom you're listening to, depending whom you talk to, this market share those market shares will be shifting over time quicker than we think. With that shift, what does it mean to us, the B2B marketing professionals, founders, tech leaders, everybody who is fighting for the customer's attention? We cannot ignore it. If we don't optimize for LLM driven search, somebody else will. With that, before we jump into anything, I have good news for you. Now we are getting to a very practical part of our conversation, and it's interesting that you can govern how ChatGPT and Perplexity access your data. ChatGPT, again, black and white on their website, has the description of the user agents or the crawlers that OpenAI uses to parse, index, and process your information. This is something that we need to be very aware about. This is not a black box. This is still a machine. And as long as this is a machine, it has an algorithm. As long as it has an algorithm, we can optimize for it. But before we even think about optimization, let's think about the governance for a moment. Both ChatGPT and Perplexity have two types of crawlers, or the ways how they access your information. And one of them is search. This is very typical, very similar to how Google discovers your information. That's a crawler that goes to your website, to your content, PDF files, and reads them, and then pulls them back to the AI platform. But there is a very interesting second type of user agent, or the bot, that is used to, attention, this is new, interact with your content. This is not a crawler in the traditional way of us understanding that. That's more like the action agent, which you can control on your end. And if you don't want any information to be used in custom GPTs, in conversations, in information processing on the ChatGPT or Perplexity side, you can govern it. You can control it. You can disallow it. So before we go to the really practical aspects, and today this session is loaded with practical hands-on advice that you can implement right away. So hopefully you will walk away with very practical things that you can apply literally today to how you work with content to be more LLM friendly in your work. But before we even go to the very practical things, I want to highlight that we can govern it. It's not a black box that lives on its own. You still own your content, and you can tell ChatGPT and other AI platforms how you would like them to use your data. By the way, ChatGPT has a very interesting type of bot. If you would like your content to be a part of the training, of the model training, you can also explicitly tell ChatGPT that you do want that to happen. Or if you feel like your data needs to be more protected and you don't want to participate in the platform, in the model training, you can disallow certain parts of your website or your content from ChatGPT using it for its purposes. And again, the governance here, the governance aspect is super important. You still own your data. You still can control in a way how ChatGPT and other systems access it. So step one, how do we find out? Like, how do we know, right? Some people, like at the very beginning, and thank you so much for your reactions and information. This is how you can go to your analytics and in your own Google Analytics statistics. If you go to acquisition, then traffic acquisition, and add a filter here, you will have the source and medium, and exactly matches ChatGPT. Don't forget to click apply. GA4 interface is still a pain for so many people. So when you do that, you will have the usually this view. And if you would like to see which content attracts people, you can also see the landing page. So this is how you can pull up the report in your own GA4. And this is how you can see which pages, which content already receives traffic from ChatGPT. Those are our own stats, our own website, and you can see that we don't have too much of the hits, but knowing which pages attract attention is the strongest signal that we can potentially get right now. And also, it will probably give you a little bit of insights in how exactly people are using it. What we noticed in a few cases, sometimes ChatGPT bots bypass the members area, the login area. Sometimes they access the forums or communities or information that requires username and password. So one of the things to look out, if you have a big library, if you have a big community resources, something to check would be if your membership, like behind the wall content, is participating in any way in the ChatGPT searches. So getting back to governance, knowing where the traffic from ChatGPT lands on your website gives you the first and foremost, like the starting point to explore which content already ranks. And if you see some weird activity, getting back to the previous slide, you can think about how you can potentially protect your content if you don't want any part of your data to participate in the training stage. For the protected information, and thank you for that question, most probably that would be the custom GPT traffic, where savvy tech users use the login and password and authorized or trained ChatGPT to log in on their behalf. So apart from ChatGPT, custom GPTs, they also have agents or assistants that can log in on your behalf, that can perform simple actions like authorizations and stuff. So if you do have the hits to your membership area, I would rather say that those are user provoked, and then they can come from the advanced usage of custom GPTs and GPTs assistants, if that makes sense. So this is how to understand which traffic you have on your website from ChatGPT. And in Ahrefs or SEMrush, whatever tool you're using, if you're using any of those, you can easily identify how the which content is currently ranked in AI overviews. So I am using HubSpot as an example here. And if you go to the filters, those are the organic keywords, then you will have the search features in more filters area here. And this is the filter that I used, where target ranks on AI overviews. You can do the same for your data. Not necessarily you will see anything, but you can also see, if you do, that's also a strong indicator of which content of on your website or that you own actively participates in this LLM driven part of Google search. So two important things here. before like jumping into any decisions or any conclusions, it's very important to see where you are right now in your own first-party data, and also you can use other tools like Ahrefs and SEMrush to see which content currently ranks in search features which are related to AI, to gather evidence, to gather foundational understanding of what content is currently ranking, and then we can explore how we can potentially scale it. If you need help with any of those, I'm like really free and open to give you a hand here if you want, if you have trouble identifying the sources, or if you see something unusual that you would like to brainstorm, like why this is happening to your data, why this is like why exactly you're seeing certain stats. There is a link for like my calendar. Feel free to, and that's going to be like in the chat in a moment. Feel free to go there, pick a time that you would like. If you'd like to talk to me about it, if you would like to explore the insights, or if you have trouble finding insights, I'm there for you. And if you need any help or any sort of assistance in identifying the current AI traffic to your website, or you see something like some patterns where you would like some like an extra pair of eyes to take a look at it, feel free. The link is in the chat. Book your time. I'm very open to have the conversation with you. So let's face the enemy. This is how both like the traditional search and LLM-driven search compare. Again, this comparison is like really brief, a very high level, but it's based on scientific research that we've done on our end, and also my previous background. I have completed a few courses on data mining, and I've trained a few very primitive models myself, but it's very interesting to see how this all come together nowadays, because my knowledge of the SEO, like it's keyword-based, the traditional search, you have to understand the like you need to think about what you need to find. It always starts with intent. You open Google and you need to kind of know what you're looking for. With LLM-driven search, this is more like the contextual, conversational, and exploratory. This is a very different use cases. These are very different use cases when it comes to user intent. And LLM-driven search is listening to user intent very closely, and instead of giving you a bunch of links that you will still need to process on your own, it gives you synthesized answers. And the presentation is different. Not just the links that you still need to explore, but the direct conversational responses and the personalization. You know it. Everybody here is using AI at some point, and in any form or shape. It is deep and it's very interactive. The few things about the knowledge updates, it could be hallucinating. It could be using training data. It could be not well connected with the most recent updates, certain models, depending on which AI platform you're using. But the main thing here, it's a dialogue-based exploration. So in your content, be ready for a conversation. This is the main message. Be ready for the conversational approach. Be ready for more like a supportive, synthesized answers. Knowing how this algorithm works is fundamental in understanding how you can get a better use of it. So now, when we are jumping to the very practical steps that you can take with your content right now, please keep in mind that we are still working with the machine, but that machine has a different algorithm. It is more contextual, it's more sensitive to user intent, it's more sensitive to user inputs, the way, like while you interact with it. So it is a deeper dialogue-based thing. So how do we feed our content? How do we optimize our content so that LLM models can not just index it, but be encouraged to use it in their answers? A few very practical steps. Let's think images. If you ever generated an image with image generator in ChatGPT or any other AI-driven engine, you will see how long the name of the image will be, the name of the file that you're downloading. This is exactly the illustration how different the two things are. Like the traditional image search based on keywords, nouns, really short descriptions, and very extensively descriptive contextual overview of the image. So let's think about the diagram of an in-house B2B marketing team structure. Like you have like VP of marketing, like a CMO, you have VP of marketing, you have content manager, you have paid ads, and so on and so forth, right? Depending on the stage of the company funding and whatever. And in the old times, we would optimize for in-house marketing structure for B2B SaaS company. That's it. This is the alt tag that any SEO specialist will write for you, and you will agree with that, and you will put it on your website and be sure that the image is optimized. Now, think about it as the diagram showing the hierarchy of marketing roles and relationships between them and an in-house marketing team for a B2B SaaS company. I hope that illustrates the fundamental difference between the two algorithms. What I'm saying here is we do not disregard the old way, but we need to think about the new ways and the context and everything that LLM driven search has baked into their LLM driven search systems have baked into their algorithms to make sure that we accommodate their way, how they work. References. Any blog article on a reputable website will definitely have some references to external sources. In the old way of doing that, some unverified researchers, or, oh, I saw it in the HubSpot blog, let me reference that. Or I saw it like the top 10 companies delivering whatever, let me put that reference. It's the length limitations. I don't think so. They will read whatever they see in the context. Probably there could be some technical limitations of what they would ignore. I would keep it reasonable. I would keep it reasonable, like maybe a sentence. A sentence that like really describes it, probably 10 to 15 words max for now. And getting back to references, the good way to put it this nowadays, government websites, EDU sites with reputable history, scholarly articles, and, surprise, surprise, Reddit and Quora threads. Why? LLMs do pay big attention to user-generated content on reviews, discussions, and forums. There is evidence that ChatGPT closely listens to Reddit threads and uses the information from Reddit conversations in generating its answers. Many reasons why they're doing that, but as long as we know that, it would be beneficial for us to get a good use of it. Not necessarily you need to reference the Reddit threads where you just have a lot of following and comments, but throwing a few references to the active discussions and the community conversations could be very beneficial in enhancing your content and making it more LLM friendly. I will show you an example in a second. So this is the best software outsourcing company, the sacred keyword for anybody who works in the IT outsourcing or like IT companies niche. And look at the AI overview here and how it's currently laid out for the user. And the best software outsourcing company depends on the type of the project and the industry for it, right? So this is how Google rationalizes the choices for the best software company. Now, take a look. If I am trying to do, like, my intent is the same, help me find the best one. This is how my results are, but this is the rationale of ChatGPT. Some top-rated firms known for their expertise and reliability. How do you know that? Look at the citations. It's a very different way. It's a very different list of sources that we see in here. And just to make things spicier, if you look at the Bing results, this is your pure evidence that ChatGPT is closely working or borrowing some information from Bing search. So if you have been abandoning Bing SEO or haven't looked at your Bing Webmaster Tools console for a long time, now is the high time to do that, because probably you will get some insights on how Bing perceives your content, and that would be your probably a little bit of a guidance how you can potentially further optimize for LLMs. So last but not least, Schema.org. This is a little bit more like on the technical SEO side, but the reason why this is so powerful for both traditional search and LLM-driven search is because we can speak their language. Schemas let you mark up your page in a way that you control and in a way that you can feed information directly to bots. Both of them, both traditional Google and Bing crawlers and OpenAI, Perplexity, and other AI platform crawlers, they will definitely look into schemas. And there are some research in the more like SEO industry going on, how properly marked up schemas can help you relay or talk to the crawlers in the language that they understand better than the context of the information on your page. So 3 things that you can start doing today to make sure that your content is more LLM friendly. Images optimizations, proper citations and references in your own content, and the schemas. Use as many of those as you can embed logically into your page to describe the page and the content that you have in the language that crawlers are more likely to get and understand. This is the more extended checklist. I will leave it here. I will not be going into that detail, but I wanted to give you like a sneak peek of what we are doing as the agency. Those are the abstracts, those are the snapshots of the GEO, generative optimization guidelines, that we designed internally in-house at Rampic, and we have been implementing them for 2 months already, and we see really good results, both in terms of the AI overviews and building traction with getting traffic from ChatGPTs. So this is what we bake in, this is what we embed in all the content briefs that we are doing for our writers. This is what we are sharing with our clients in terms of how exactly we would recommend optimizing content. So those GEO guidelines, again, scientifically backed up, and practical research component is also there for sure. So this is how we are transforming the content production or content briefing part in the light of LLMs getting more and more market share on their own. So I think that's a real line in the sand. Either you're in or you're out, and for the LLM driven traffic. So there's an old way of optimizing content, focused on keywords, focused on traditional search model, or there is a new way, there's a new wave that you can potentially catch, where you're optimizing both for humans and for AI-driven robots. And if you need any help, you can always talk to us. We are very more than ready to take a look at your data, see what your current effort is in this regard. Or if you're currently not doing anything here for LLM optimization, we are more than willing to give more extended overview of how you can potentially benefit from that source. So help us here. Please feel free to use the link in the chat. Take a look at my calendar. Book your time with me and with us, and I'm more than happy to help you see what's in your data, see what you're currently, look into what you're currently doing with your content marketing strategy, and give any inputs that I have from my experience, from our recent wins that we have for like AI overviews and scaling traffic from ChatGPT to you, so that you can benefit from it, benefit from all the knowledge that we have accumulated so far. And a few bonuses. We do have the measurement toolkit, a few instruments and systems that I showed you today, starting with Google Analytics. Feel free, we will share the recording, so feel free to get back to the part where I was building those filters. If you need any help, again, please feel free to reach out. We'll definitely help you out. Ahrefs and SEMrush. but also two other ones, like Google Search Console for sure. And for the HubSpot's AI Search Grader, Google that tool, and it would be. It was very interesting for me to take a look how HubSpot is trying to catch the wave as well. You'll see the certain indicators about your brand and your content most possibly there. Or if you don't see anything, that's a strong signal that you need to pay even more attention to LLM-driven search and models. And for the AI Gen Content Detector, it's Zero GPT. That's the tool that we are using to see what proportion of the content was more likely written by AI and is more likely written by human. So probably this could be also a helpful tool that you can use. Yes, of course, the recording will be shared shortly after this session, so you will get access to everything here. And thanks for staying until the end. The promised AI search readiness checklist. So, of course, the link is in the chat. Feel free to go there, and it's just like a click away. So you will land on this page, and if you click the Get Instant Access here, there you go. There's a PDF to grab, a lot of goodies, a lot of information for any part of the team that might be interested in embedding the LLM component into their. So yes, Risha, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm trying to turn my mic on. Just one question I had, and I know this is all really new, but what impact is DeepSeek having, or do we anticipate having compared to ChatGPT?
This is a great question, and I looked at DeepSeek comparison to other platforms. Think about it as another tool. Think about it as another browser.
Okay.
If you remember, like some time ago, you only had like Internet Explorer and Mozilla and Opera. Then Google Chrome came in. Then certain other browsers like Safari was rising with the Apple search. So they all do the same function. It's just like the matter of the interface and convenience and speed and quality of your experience that you have with them for now. Nobody's none of the models that we currently have in here is robust enough to be the market leader. And it's good that ChatGPT got disrupted and the whole AI industry got disrupted by DeepSeek. It means that we have a healthy competition, and the access to AI capabilities has just become easier for so many people and brands. That's my take on it. So for now, we are still at the very early stage, but the good thing is all of the models that we currently have, the large LLM, like large language models, they more or less follow the same algorithms, and whoever is designing them, whoever is training them, are more or less doing the same thing, which brings us into a healthy competition space, which we need to watch out and see how we can potentially use it for our brand's benefits. So that's my take on what's currently happening.
Great, thank you.
Sure, absolutely. And for the scientific research and the background behind this checklist, we took a look at the scholarly articles that detailed how LLM components are used to enhance the user experience. So, for example, the one of the, if you Google the LLM, you know what, the best answer to that question, I'll share a few articles that we carefully studied before developing this checklist in the follow-up email together with the recording. But on a high level, what we did, we looked into what the humanity kind of knows about how LLM models operate and what are the most useful, like practical use cases that we can borrow in our work. And we read the scientific experiments, how optimizing for contacts context, intent, how references incorporation into the content helped to improve the LLM-driven results. And that was the main vector for our scientific research in this case. We wanted to keep it very practical and very to the point how we can potentially use it. So my biggest question as an entrepreneur, as the professional, what's in that for me? So this is what was driving our scientific background there. But technically what we did, we studied a number of scholarly articles that were tackling the practical aspects of LLM-driven platforms and models applications to real life. I hope that answers the question, and I'm happy to share a few of those in the follow-up email to this session. I'm reading the questions right now in the chat, and again, that's the perfect timing for the Q&A. Exactly the benefits of having longer and descriptive alt tags. That's a really good practical questions, and Danilo, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Thank you for those. That's just those principles that are incorporated in how LLMs read your content. So the difference between the traditional search and the LLM-driven understanding of your context is in the algo itself. LLMs will tokenize the sentence that they read, and they will assign the certain weights, or this, depending on the model settings, the sensitivity of the model. They will be looking how they can potentially group the words that they recognize with other words in their database. And when generating the answers, it will look the system, the model, will look into how you describe the image, because it cannot see it. It can only read your description. Still, they cannot see it. The more detailed and contextual description that you have for your image, the more you will be in line with how LLMs process and synthesize the information. So it's not the length, it's the context. And in my example on the screen, you cannot give the enough context and depth into your alt tag without increasing the length. So it's not about how long you will make your alt tags. It's about how descriptive and contextual you will make them. I hope this answered the question, and feel free to unmute yourself if you would like to give me a follow-up question or anything. That's an open floor.
Yeah, actually, sorry, Ludmila, thanks for the opportunity. Let me clarify maybe the question. So usually when you have a page which contains content, for example, let's say the case of the outsourcing software development, you can have an image that contains also information about that, but you have a very long content that describes what the page is about, the services that we offer. And like you say, LLMs can read that content, from the text or from the image. So what is the sense of adding that information to the image when the LLMs is already able to read and understand what the page is about?
Good question. And the best practical answer would be to search for images on the web from inside the ChatGPT. You will see that it completely it's very different from what Google image search is providing. But when people tell me show me the illustrations, not AI generated ones, but show me the images from the web, any diagrams, charts, or anything practical, the more descriptive your alt tag or title for the image is, the better are your chances to be displayed in ChatGPT or similar platforms.
Okay, so you mean if you search for an image, not for example, for a service? Okay.
But let's say the services can also be descriptive, and especially for the tech savvy audience, and usually in the software sourcing industry, your prospects will be on the tech side and quite senior or very experienced in their fields. they will definitely be they will be more likely to use ChatGPT or any AI instruments for their research. That's why optimizing everything that you have on your page, not just content, text content, but also images, videos, everything that you can, schemas, would be your take, would be would be to your benefit to get more exposure to them through the new media that we are dealing with, if that makes sense.
Yep, thank you.
Of course, and sure. In this example, this is a very commercial keyword, right, for the software sourcing company, and not necessarily you will have the government or educational websites for that particular for that particular keyword. I put it out there mostly for comparison between like the three platforms and how the commercial, highly high intent, highly competitive keywords are treated by the three systems. But my main point is this: some of the top software sourcing companies, right? And nothing like who designed that list? Like how do we get there? And instead, here ChatGPT, for me as a user, will give me the rationale, known for their expertise and reliability. And you can see how different this can be. Again, this rating currently it's more or less backed up by Bing search results plus some blended information within the model. My point here is not that you need to use governmental and educational websites in every single article that you produce. My point here is that LLM models are more sensitive for checking the credibility. They do the fact checking before they produce, before they give you outputs. They refer to Bing rather than Google for driving results. So it's more like for the broader context and broader understanding how they operate. Not necessarily that you need to embed the governmental links in every single page that you have. And Martin, for your this example here on this page, so this is this is an old one, very descriptive, and this is a new one, very lengthy one at the very bottom of the slide. Any other questions? Thoughts? Ideas, maybe?
I do. Hi, Lumina. I have another question.
Yeah, of course.
So I have not yet actually dived into creating a custom ChatGPT. Are there any resources like for best practices in sort of building a custom ChatGPT for marketing?
That's a great question, and yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, the best way, and you can tell that I have been experimenting with some of the things in here. So what what I recommend doing is to try to chat with your own GPT in a way where you are trying to build one. So use ChatGPT as a tool that will help you build your own. So I can show you what we are doing for like ramping, and this is more like a sandbox. And this is how I am training it. And in this particular example, you will see that we have what I'm telling it to do is to take the ICP profile, to take the list of the keywords. So I'm telling which data it needs to refer to before generating any Google ads. And we're talking about the Google Search and Ads Custom GPT that helps me and my team to save time on generating Google ads. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling the system to do. I'm giving very specific instructions. So with what are the responsive ads, the headlines, and this is a very repetitive task on the agency side. We do Google search ads all the time, every single day. And instead of writing them on our own or having the system decide for us, we decided to provide the inputs, the list of keywords, and the ICP here is very important. And we also have this instruction refer to the attached guide for best practices, and stick to ICP pain points and CTAs and hooks. This PDF here is directly taken from Google Guidelines. And it has the best practices, industry standards that the model can refer to when working on the tasks that we are given to it. So, Tricia, in your case, the best way probably to start it, and Daniel, thank you so much for the tip in the chat. You can try to chat with ChatGPT, saying, "Hey, I would like to create the custom GPT that will help me automate or save time on the particular task. Where do I start?" And take it from there. So ask the system itself.
Yeah, well, that was probably self-explanatory. I didn't even think about that. Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions? I will be here for like good enough, like 10 minutes. If you want to hang out and ask me if you like a more detailed questions about your particular situation, please feel free to stay here. For everybody on this call, like give me thumbs ups, give me like the reaction if it was good, it was helpful, useful, if it adds up to your work and to everything that you do now. Thank you. And if you think of follow-up questions, if you need me, feel free to book a meeting with me, feel free to email me, reach out. I'm here for you. I know that this is like relatively new, and nobody, as one of my clients said, like nobody is an expert, and this is very true. But the more collectively we think about it, the more we learn about it, the more we know about it, the better we will be in optimizing for these new media, for these new algorithms. So thank you so much for spending this morning with me. I do hope it was useful, it was practical, and you will be able to immediately start implementing the things that you learned today on this session. So thanks again. Thank you so very much. And I'll stay here for like another 5 to 10 minutes. If you want to stay behind and ask your like particular questions or pick my brain on your particular business situation, please feel free to do so. I will be here for some time. Hey, Raul, you're muted. I can see you talking, but I cannot hear you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have a question. I'm a content marketing manager, and we're trying to figure out how to write blogs themselves, like how to structure the blogs themselves, how to like physically implement this information into a blog. Do you have an example of what a great geo content would look like, or do you have advice on does it matter how high up in the content we're implementing these measures? Like, does the intro need to answer all the questions we think Geo is looking for? Things like that.
Mm-hmm. You can look into like this slide in more detail. So this is what we are doing on our end. And some of the things here could be very practical for your work. For example, the bottom line up front thing, the bluff method is working really good when you start, like when you open the article with the quick summary or the main thought explained. So what exactly we are talking about and what's the outcome. That could be one of the things that you can adopt when you adjust your content marketing strategy to the new thing. And also the structure is super important. Readability is key. This is how the LLMs will also look at your content in terms of the content quality. Is it readable? What's the readability index? We recommend to keep it anything between like high school and like first years of college, right? So we don't recommend to make that content too complicated and complex unless you are writing like a technical documentation where you have to be aligned with the expectations of your reader. You have to be precise and you have to use all the terms and terminology that you're using. But if you're talking about the regular blogs that are explaining the concept or help you position yourself as an expert, like a typical content marketing goals that you have for B2B company, then breaking it down into more readable structure, using the mixed formats like FAQs, definitions, examples, tables, bullet points, links to glossaries, like explanations of the technical terms. These all, like those like little things that make that content more accessible, readable, and contextualize. They contextualize the main idea behind that articles. The more context that you give and the more structure you use right now, the more like the friendlier you become for the LLM driven platforms. That's what we know for now.
Okay, that was very helpful. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any other questions? And again, thanks so much for your time today. And that was great question. And by the way, let me know if you have like more specific things that you would like to chat about. Feel free to book a call with me. I'm more than happy to look a little bit deeper into what you're currently doing on the content marketing side. So feel free to pick my brain on any specific things that you might want to brainstorm with me.